StraightallDay.com. You are now tuned into the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there, even when the success you've expected to achieve has yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, you get a huge dose of personal initiative. What is that? That is the go-getter energy that moves any one of us, including yourself, to go and make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. And then we put all this together into a series of frameworks, approaches, insights, strategies, and techniques, all underneath the umbrella of one unifying philosophy that is called work on your game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. And today's topic is the power of routine in your daily life. Before we get into the subject, let me remind everybody or inform those of you who didn't know. I send out a text message every single morning that is guaranteed to have you focused, sharp, and on point for the day. I gave it a name. It is called the Daily Motivation Text. I'm not even going to ask you. I'm just going to tell you that you want to receive this message. So here's what you need to do to get it. You need to text me at my number, which is 305-384-6894. And every morning, starting tomorrow morning when that Daily Motivation Text drops, because you're a member of my text community, you'll be getting this message straight to your phone free of charge. Secondly, Work on Your Game University. This is where I do all my coaching. This is where all my high-level trainings and frameworks and courses are at. This is also where you can see testimonies of people we have worked with in the past. It's all right there on the page at workonyourgameuniversity.com. Also there, you can schedule a time to get on a free call with me or someone on our team. We call it a game session. We will help you with your game, where you're at, where you want to go, and what you think might be in your way from getting there. If we can help you further, we'll tell you how we can help you further and what that will look like as well. But you'll get value just from getting on that call itself. So just go to workonyourgameuniversity.com. The link to get to there is down below in the description to this video. So we made it all easy for you. You don't have to even think. Just go to workonyourgameuniversity.com. Link is down below. All that said, getting into the topic, the power of routine in your daily life. Definition of a routine is a sequence of actions regularly followed, also known as a fixed program. I am a big habits and routines individual, if you couldn't tell, if you didn't know. And I am strongly suggesting that you become one as well if you are not already. If you were one, but you haven't been recently, that's something that I hear often from people, then I'm suggesting that you get back on the horse and get your shit together, especially in the areas of your life that are super important to you. If all of your life is important, I think most of you will probably agree with that, then you should look for and seek to implement routines in every area of your life. Now, why would I say this? Simple reason, because routines work and because routines produce consistent, predictable results. Today, we're going to talk about how and why they produce results and how and why you can implement them into your life. Point number one. Topic, once again, is the power of routine in your daily life. Number one, the same things, the same way, every time. The same things, the same way, every time. I'll talk about this in episode number 2013. This is the common language definition of a routine. So if I had to put a routine just into everyday conversational language, this is what I would say. Do the same things the same way every time. That's a routine. That's what it is. When you do the same things the same way every time, you will know exactly what's going to happen and that it happens the exact same way and that it will happen over and over again and with very little variation between one execution to the next. That's the power of routine. Biggest challenge that many people have with this concept is the human need for variety. I'm not telling you you're wrong for desiring or wanting variety in your life. We all need variety in our lives. But some of us seem to be more addicted to variety than others. And some of us seem to need variety in damn near everything that we do, which means we have routine in pretty much nothing because you want variety in everything. But I want you to understand that's an inaccurate formula because there's a way to get the variety that you need and want while at the same time embracing routine, if a need for variety is your thing. See, this problem becomes even more pernicious in today's world because in the world we live in now, we are constantly distracted by these small devices that are about, depending on the size of the phone, you have somewhere between 4 and 6 inches in height and maybe another 2 or 3 inches in width, called smartphones. Now, all of us know what those are, right? Everybody has one, right? And these devices are within arm's reach 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And it's not the fact that they're within arm's reach that is the challenge. It's what they do and what they cause us to do that is the challenge. because what they do is provide a constant source of distraction, which produces a constant breaking of what could be a routine. But every time you get distracted, you get broken off of your routine. You lose your focus. And the time that it takes for you to get off the focus and then get it back, those minutes add up over the course of a day. So those of you who feel as if you're just feeling, this is not real, but you're feeling as if you don't have enough time in a day, well, the amount of time you have in a day is the exact same every day. It always has been for as long as you've been alive. What you don't have is enough focus to get the most out of the time you have in a day. The amount of time you have is the same. So anytime somebody says, I don't have enough time, well, you always had the same amount of time, and the amount of time you have ain't changing. So not having enough time is not your problem. The problem is I'm not making the most of my time. That's what people need to be saying instead of saying I don't have time. You got time. You're just not using it in a way that is helping you get to the outcomes that you want to get to. So maybe you need to restructure how you're living your life and how you're operating your business and how you're going about your day. That would be the more accurate thing to say. What these devices do is provide a constant source of distraction rather. And they're not distraction just by existing. Like my smartphone is right here on the table next to me. It's not distracting me. I can look at it, I see it. It's a source of distraction because it only becomes a distraction if I pick it up and stop doing what I should be doing right now, which is recording this episode. Everybody understand? The phone itself ain't doing anything. It's the way that you use the phone that does everything. So again, when people demonize the smartphone and social media apps and things like that, oh, these apps are doing this and the phone is doing that, and then people are saying it's kind of semantics, but I want to get more literal here. I'm getting literal in explaining this. The phone itself is not a distraction. It's the way that we use the phones that make them distractions. Is what we do, what we put on the phones, what we respond to when the phone tries to get our attention, how we respond, or if we respond when the phone wants our attention via a vibration, a ring, or a notification ping. You don't have to respond to it, but you choose to. That's you that's causing the distractions, not the phone. All right, the phone is an accomplice, but you're in charge. We think you're in charge. And the distraction that comes from our use of the phone produces a constant breakage, again, of what could be a routine. Biggest asset that you can develop in today's world, in the world that we live in right now, is the ability to ignore possible distractions and instead focus. That's one of the biggest assets you can have. Simply the ability to focus while there are many possible distractions looking to grab your attention. See, to direct your attention intentionally to where you want it to be and not allow it to be broken by the world's desire to pull you away via distraction, that is a superpower in today's world. It wasn't a superpower 20 years ago, it's a superpower now. So any of you who has this ability, that is a superpower. You should harness it and make sure you're using it as much as possible. Point number 2. Today's topic, once again, is the power of routine in your daily life. Number 2. Fewer decisions equals faster execution with less required brain power. Faster, and we can call that efficient. Faster and more efficient execution when you need to make fewer decisions, all based on the fact that you have routines. Subconscious mind, everyone, operates and executes faster than the conscious mind. So what you want to do is take work off the hands of your conscious mind and give it to your subconscious mind. It's kind of like if you hired a super duper ace personal assistant, you want to offload as many tasks that you're doing and give them to the assistant for them to do. And you want the subconscious mind, that's your super assistant, and subconscious mind is a super personal assistant. As a matter of fact, it literally is that. It executes a whole lot faster. It's more efficient than you, the conscious mind. So if you give it more work, it will do more work. And this is one of the key benefits of having a routine and a process and a system in place, is that you no longer have to think about what to do, because the subconscious will take over, the process takes over. All you got to do is say, oh, this is the process I'm doing next. And because you've done it so many times and the subconscious mind has it nailed down, has the whole process laid out in its own mind, all you got to do is let the subconscious take over and it will do it on its own. So you no longer have to think about what to do. It's another reason why people who play the game at a higher level relative to you, they seem to do so easily and almost without thought. Have you ever seen someone do something that you've been struggling and striving to get good at, and they did it damn near, it doesn't even appear like they even thought about how to do it. They just did it. It just came naturally to them. These are people who live at what we call the fourth day. And people who live at the fourth day have mastered the third day. What is the third day? Those are the situations where the newness and the novelty of a situation has worn off. You realize that there's real work to be done and you got to dig in and actually do it. That's the third day. And you will have many of those days. When you master that situation, you get to what we call the fourth day. The work did not get easier, it just feels easier. It did not get easier, you just make it look easy. And people who reach the fourth day have a system, they have a routine for what they do. And they've done it so much that by the time you see them do it, by the time you witness it, what they do appears to be second nature. It just feels like, it's like, damn, they've done that so many times, it just seems natural to them. But do not be fooled into thinking they were born with this ability. This is something that is done intentionally and is done by process. When I played basketball, I remember I was at LA Fitness in 2005. LA Fitness in, this is the Fort Washington location, which is now, I believe the last time I was up in Philly, they had, this place had been converted into a, what is those big places with the gyms? Damn, I can't remember the name of the gym. I can't remember the name. It'll come to me in a second. But they have the basketball league, Lifetime Fitness, Lifetime Fitness. So that LA Fitness location in Fort Washington, big location, a lot of space. They turned it into a, or was bought out and then turned into a Lifetime Fitness location. They got a basketball league and all that stuff. But anyway, I remember I was playing pickup ball there in 2005, and this guy at the end of the game, he came to me and said, "Man, how'd you get so good at dribbling the basketball?" As he was saying as a compliment, he was like, "Man, you dribble like that. It's like that thing is attached to your hand the way you're dribbling the ball." Little did that guy know. Now, he didn't say anything else. Now, little did he know that when I first started playing basketball, I could not dribble the basketball. I could not dribble the ball without looking down. And even then, I still wasn't good at it. Dribbling the ball off my foot, couldn't dribble the ball more than 2 or 3 times without losing it. I wasn't good at dribbling the basketball. The way I got good at it is I created can everybody say it together, a routine for practicing my ball handling. I called it dribbling drills, a dribbling drill series. Those were the videos that even to this day, if you were to look at my YouTube channel, the videos that have the most views in aggregate are the videos that are based on dribbling the basketball, just drills on how to dribble the basketball. And it's very, if you look at it, it looks pretty basic. I mean, there's nothing flashy about the video. It's just me doing the dribbling drills, just showing you, here's how you do this drill. Do this, then do this, then do that. And it's me just bouncing the ball over and over and over again, the same process over and over and over again. And I did that process for years, to where in 2005, when I was playing pickup with this guy just marveled at my ability. Now, he didn't say it was a natural ability. He didn't say it was talent, but he just said, "Hey, it looked like the ball's attached to your hand." He was just complimenting me on how natural it appeared that I was doing what I was doing. It appeared second nature, my ability to dribble a basketball, but he did not know that I was not born with that ability. I developed it through routine. I got through the third days of learning how to dribble to where I got to the fourth day to where I could dribble the ball with my eyes closed and weaving in between defenders and transitioning from dribbling to shooting or dunking or passing or whatever, because I had worked on it so much that it appeared natural, but it was anything but. Do not be fooled into thinking that people who have this ability are born with it. They develop it through intentional and process-driven practice. And good news about that is that everybody can do this. This is available to everyone. Point number 3. Today's topic, once again, is the power of routine in your daily life. Number 3, you will be consistent and predictable, which is a good thing. Being consistent and predictable is a good thing. This is what people want. This is what your consumers want. We are creatures of habit, and we want to know what's going to happen at all times, especially when we're on the consumer end of things. We want to know exactly what we're going to get. I remember playing ball, another basketball story. This was several years later, probably maybe 2010, 11-ish. By this point, I had a sizable audience on YouTube of 99% basketball players, and they would watch every video I put out. And I remember I was playing this guy one-on-one, and I put the video on YouTube. And people were commenting on the video because in the game, when I'm playing this guy one-on-one, I kept doing the same move over and over again. I would do a little hesitation move, then I would shoot a pull-up jump shot. And at this point, I was really good at doing the hesitation move and shooting a pull-up jump shot because I practiced this so much. And this guy who I was playing one-on-one against, he was not doing a good job of defending against the move. So since he wasn't defending the move, I just kept doing the same move and I kept scoring on him and I kept beating him in the game. And I put this video on YouTube, and I had some critics criticize what they saw in the video. They said, "Well, Dre, it's cool that you won the game, but you're just doing the same move over and over again. I mean, it's very predictable. I know exactly what you're going to do because you keep doing the same move over and over again. And again, this is the person watching the video saying this. And then a couple other people chimed in and co-signed that comment that, hey, you're just doing the same move over and over again. When you do your drills, when you're by yourself, you're practicing a bunch of different moves, a variety of moves. But then in the game, you're only doing one move. What's that about, Dre? Why don't you just do all those other moves? And I explained to them that the purpose of playing in the game is not to be a magician who can do a whole bunch of moves. The purpose in the game is to score as quickly as possible and win the game. The point of the game is not to do moves. You don't get points for doing moves. You get points for scoring baskets. And if I can do something very efficiently that produces a basket, I don't need to do anything else. The whole point here being that this consistency and predictability that these players were, I guess they called themselves criticizing, was the exact reason why I was winning the games. The exact reason why I was the one on the court playing and they were the ones on their couches watching. All right, what people want is consistency and predictability of outcome. This is what we want. We want to know exactly what's going to happen. We do not like surprises. Any of you pay for surprises? Exactly. You've never paid for a surprise. Now, maybe you paid for something and got a surprise. You probably weren't too happy about it. All right. Think about the things that you pay for on a regular basis. Anything where there's, for example, a monthly subscription. Are you okay with your gym being only open when the owner feels like coming to the gym? Or do you expect consistent hours? If they say the gym's open from 5 a.m. to 11 p.m., you don't want to show up to the gym at 5:30 and it's not open yet because, oh, well, we felt like opening at 6 o'clock today. All right, that's not acceptable. Or they're closing it is 9:30. They're like, we're closing the gym. And you're like, wait, the hours say 11 o'clock. They say, well, today we just feel like closing at 9:30. We got to go. All right, that wouldn't be okay. You would not be okay with that. You probably wouldn't remain a member of that gym. You expect consistency because you're paying for it. What about Wi-Fi? And you got Wi-Fi at home? Or do you expect the Wi-Fi to only work maybe 2 to 5 hours every day and the rest of the time is not working, but then they expect you to pay the bill every month as if it worked the way it was supposed to, right? You would have a problem with that. You call them and cuss them out because they're not holding up their end of the bargain. When we pay for things, we expect consistency. Anything we pay for, we expect consistency. The reason I'm bringing this up, folks, is because I'm talking to an audience of professionals. All right, our target audience, our target client at Work on Your Game University is an entrepreneur, person who has no safety net and they're running a business and they're taking on greater than normal financial risk. So you have people paying you and you need to keep people paying you for you to sustain your business and to take care of yourself and to feed your family and to pay your staff. So you need to be consistent because if you're inconsistent and your clients and customers don't know what they're going to get from you, well, they're going to stop paying you because you're not delivering. You're not holding up your end of the bargain. When we depend on things, it is because we have grown accustomed to the consistency of that thing that we're paying for. That's why we're willing to pay for it, because we know what we're going to get. And when we pay for something that is new to us, we're paying because we expect a certain thing. We have a certain expectation. We trust that expectation. And if they don't deliver on that expectation, then we stop paying. All right, no more of that. You want to be on the receiving end of these payments from people who want something consistent? Guess what you got to be? Consistent. You got to be dependable. You need to be just as consistent as the things that you pay for. You go to the gas station and you hit the little button and you put your card in the little slider and then you hit the button and you pull the lever on the pump. You expect gas to come out of there, right? Why? Because that's the expectation. If it doesn't deliver, you're going to be like, what the hell is going on here? You're going to go inside and you're going to complain to somebody. Hey, something ain't working. Every day I have somebody telling me how they lack consistency in something. Every day somebody tells me they're inconsistent. I had somebody texting me today, as a matter of fact, telling me that they're inconsistent in trying to stop smoking weed. This is what the person said. They're trying to stop smoking weed. So how long have you been trying to stop smoking weed? They said 6 years. And I was asking them, well, what needs to happen in order for you to do it? And they gave me some kind of answer that it sounded good, but it was a bunch of nonsense. And I remember the last thing I asked them, I said, okay, well, have you actually quit? And they said, well, I'm trying to. And I said, the hell does that mean? You're trying to? I said, when's the last time you smoked? And they said, yesterday. See, if you want to be consistent, you want to get paid, you got to be consistent and dependable for what you expect. Every day somebody tell me they lack consistency, right? This lack of consistency, folks, is a leading indicator of a person not being able to generate the resources they want to have in their lives, specifically around money. How am I connecting consistency to money? I just told you, you run the business, you ain't consistent, you ain't getting paid. And if you can't be consistent with yourself, how are you going to be consistent with anybody else? How are you going to be consistent in all the areas that matter the most? You're probably missing something. If you can't be consistent and disciplined with yourself, you're probably lacking consistency and discipline in some other areas. Maybe not every other area, but there are some areas where you're lacking it. I guarantee inconsistency is not a lone wolf. Let's put it that way. Let me say that again, folks. Inconsistency is not a lone wolf. In other words, if you're inconsistent in one area of life that you probably should have under control and you don't, I guarantee you there are other inconsistencies out there. Maybe we don't know about them, but they exist and you know about them. That's the most important part. You need to get that fixed. All right, this is a personal this is a personal character trait. Your ability to be consistent. This is not a tool. It's a personal character trait. So the lack of inconsistency is, I guarantee you, is in more than one spot in your life. If you got it in one place, it's in another place. It's like having ants. Like, it ain't one ant in your house. There's a bunch of them. You just ain't seen them all yet. Recapping today's class, which is the power of routine in your daily life. Routine is defined as a sequence of action regularly followed or a fixed program. Number one, same things the same way every time. It's the common language definition of a routine. You know what's going to happen. It happens the exact same way over and over again. Some humans need variety, but understand when you are disciplined and you are consistent, you can get your variety within the process of following your own disciplines. And you need to push away from the world's desire to distract you at all times, especially with your handheld devices. Number two, fewer decisions equals faster execution with less brain power. In other words, you are more efficient. The subconscious mind operates and executes faster than the conscious mind, so you give it more work, it will do more work. You have to just push yourself past that third day and get to the fourth day to where the things you are doing, like me dribbling that basketball back in 2005, just seemed natural and God-given when it was anything but. It was all based on having a intentional process of practice that made me good to where it seemed like I wasn't even practicing. It seemed like I just rolled out of bed like that. Number three, you'll be consistent and predictable when you have a routine. It's a good thing. People pay for consistency and predictability. We do not pay for surprises. So even though you may want surprises in your life and variety in your life, as a business person, as a professional, the number one thing that people want from you is consistency and predictability. They want to be able to predict what you're going to do, and then you do exactly that every single time. Is that boring? Is it monotonous? Is it tedious? Call it whatever the hell you want. I guarantee you what it will be is getting you paid on a consistent basis if that's your angle. All that said, text me and let me know you want to get my daily motivation that's sent out for free every single day. My number is 305-384-6894. And Work on Your Game University. You want to be the next person to work with us directly, the next person to be coached by me. The only place I coach anybody, if I coach anybody, is in Work on Your Game University. You can look at the case studies and testimonials of others who we have coached from all different angles. We got people from the finance world to the real estate world to the tech world to the speaking world to the authors to athletes and a whole lot more. So many that I can't even list them all. Go to workonyourgameuniversity.com. You can see it right there on the page, so you know I ain't lying. You can hear them tell you. No one will take it from me. Let them tell you. And then you can hit that button, schedule a time to get on a call with me or somebody on our team. We'll talk about where you're at, where you want to go, and how we could possibly help you, and how that will look moving forward. All this at workonyourgameuniversity.com. Work on your game. Dre, all